Okay, today I'm going to show you how to do a biofeedback scan. I'm going to do a sample here. I've already closed the program because the Spooky 2 program has to be closed when you prior to let's say you have your rig running and you want to do a biofeedback scan. You need to close the software and then insert your pulse device directly into a USB port on your computer, not a hub, or else it won't work. And then when you launch your software, it will look for the pulse device, and then you can go to the System tab and make sure that your spooky pulse has been detected. I'm going to I know I have enough direct experience with the biofeedback scanning to know that my heart rate is very erratic. So I'm going to tick double HRV tolerance. That's the heart rate variability. If you have known issues, if you are sick or old and your heart rate is very erratic, I would highly recommend that you do the double HRV tolerance. In my case, in my specific case, I have a metal implant in my, I have a surgical staple in my left knee. So I don't know whether that has anything to do when I've tried to do contact when I've tried to input the frequencies by contact with the TENS pads. I had a lot of data errors where the pulse would just freeze for several seconds before it would restart. So it was just my experience through trial and error that I had more success by using the remote mode to input frequencies into my body versus the TENS pads, as well as doubling the HRV tolerance. So I'm going to tick that because I know what my direct experience is. Again, if you're having difficulty, tick this and you might have a better luck. Let's see here. I am going also to enable the system sounds so that I can hear the chime when the biofeedback scan is completed. I am going to, you'll see that I have 5 generators. Spooky pulse has been detected. I have a green solid light on the pulse device, as well as a red flashing light that is synced to my pulse. I'm using my finger sensor, and I have it on my pinky finger, my smallest finger, because that seems to work the best. If I put it on my ring finger or my middle finger, it's a little bit too snug and I kind of feel it throbbing, and so you don't want it too tight and not too loose. So in my particular case, the pinky finger works the best. So I'm just going to describe to you how I have it set up. Also, I have my rig set up in an extra bedroom, so it's just a matter of pulling up a bed very close to my work table so that I'll be in close proximity to my computer, because of course your pulse device has to be monitoring your heart rate to give you the feedback. And rather than hooking up TENS pads, I'm using the remote mode to input frequencies into my body. So I will show you a sample. I'm going to go to the biofeedback general, and I'm going to select on the part scans. And the test scan is designed to give you basically some practice trial runs so that you can see that things are working properly. So I'm going to just demonstrate that. And so I select that as a preset. You'll see that the settings are already designed for you. It'll use 20 volts, which is fine for a remote. If you go to the Control tab, make sure you select Allow General Overwrites. I'm going to use my Generator 14 to do this. I already have a fresh fingernail and a fresh, actually, blood sample that I use, so that I have one of those devices where it pokes your finger, a lancet. And so I'll just put in a fresh blood sample and a fresh fingernail, which represents my DNA. I'm going to modify these settings just because, in my experience, and no offense to the creator of this preset, but I always like to use maximum beats per minute on all of my scans, because it will give me the top hits of what my body is responding to as a most stressful frequency. In other words, it's a stress response. If I selected heart rate variability, it's going to give me highs and lows from my heart rate. And so some of them are going to be healing and some of them are going to be killing. But rather than doing both, I'd rather just focus on all killing, because this is basically you're scanning the range of a pathogen frequencies of a range of pathogens. So I want to focus on killing pathogens. So the running average is fine, because if you're doing a full scan, you know, a running average is better. Whereas if you're doing a short scan, maybe where, you know, 3 or 5 minutes, you would do a peak scan where you'd have your peak. So I'm going to leave these. The single scan has to continue to be ticked. You'll notice that I'm going to manipulate this. It's designed at the moment. It's going to run for 40 seconds roughly based on your heart rate. But I'm going to manipulate this here a little bit. So, and again, it's going to be hard to find 10 hits in 40 seconds. So I'm going to modify this to 79,000. And that'll give me, if I click on a next field, you'll see that it's changed from 40 seconds to 3 minutes. And this is just for demonstration purposes. And maximum hits to find, I'll modify that to just 4. So hit the top 4. Again, this is an example. And your samples and steps, every 20 hertz, your step size is 20 hertz. So it's going to go from 76020 to 76040 to 76060. You get it. So the start delay, since it's a sample, I'm going to put it down to 10 seconds. Click on a different field. Oops. Let's see here. Start delay 10. And I wonder why. Let's see. 10. Oh well, that's fine. I guess 20 seconds is the minimum. Alright, so now I've got everything set up like I want it. This is just a demonstration, so I click on Scan. It will load the waveforms, which is the sine wave. You'll see my generator 14 turn from a red to a red to a purple, which indicates that it's scanning. You'll see that in 20 seconds you'll begin the countdown here. This is the beginning the countdown, but you should see a green and pink field. You'll see that the graph shows the historical pulse record. The background changes from red to green, indicating the stress levels. Red is stressed, green is relaxed. So what you're going to see here demonstrated is that your frequencies are again going to start counting up to from 76,000 to 79,000, and it's going to have increments of 20 hertz, because that's the way this is set up. That's your step size. So this will run for 3 minutes roughly. You'll notice at the top here, excuse me, the top, you'll have your duration. If you don't see this scan, if you don't see any kind of graph moving here, or if you see spooky pulse emulating, or if you see just a white field, that means your pulse device was not detected when you restarted your computer. The other thing that can happen is, if you don't go through the proper procedures and your spooky pulse device is not plugged in, and you say, oh, I'm going to do a biofeedback scan, let me plug in my pulse device, it's not going to work, and you'll just have a solid white field down here with no graph whatsoever. Also, if you had your, oh, okay, we're done. So I got the top 4 hits, and I'm going to save it. Top 4 sample biofeedback scan. And so this is just to demonstrate how you save the program, and I'm going to put sample biofeedback scan. It's just basically to show you how this works. So I'm going to save it. Are you sure you want to save and exit? Yes. Alright, so it's going to load this into, this is basically going to be my top 4 hits. Excuse me. And it is saved into my custom database. And so what I will do now is close this tab. I'm going to select a preset, go to my home tab, and I know I want to use a killing modality in remote mode. So I'll select killing JW. And to find the program, I'm gonna, let's see here. It might be easiest just to put sample, since yeah, I used scan as well. So if I put scan in, it should pull out. Yeah. So there it is. So I'm gonna double click on it to load it. Your settings are already done for you because it's a preset. Select allow generator overwrites. Click on a generator button. And now you have your saved biofeedback loaded. So if you want to do a reverse lookup, there's ways to do that. And what you do is go to this area right here where it says reverse lookup. I'm going to select 0 tolerance. You can manipulate these, you can include octaves, and I'll show you the difference, but let's see here. If you search your custom database, it will also say, oh, it'll, if these frequencies showed up in a prior biofeedback scan, it'll show you that, oh, by the way, that was in a previous scan. And I'll go with 0 tolerance instead of 0.1 because I want, exact information, or as close. So again, if you hover over any button in the software, you'll get a tooltip. It says find frequencies from the spooky database. I'm going to click on go, and it gives me the matches that were found. I'm not going to save it because I'm going to go back and show you how, if I had the default 0.1%, and if I wanted to include the octave, and I select on go, you'll see you're going to get many more results because you're going to have octave frequencies. Alright, so rather than, I'm trying to keep this simple, but just to let you know that you can search or get results. You can get results depending on how you input those fields. I'm not going to save that. I'll untick the include octave and keep the 0.1%, select go, and now it's, again, you don't have all the octaves. Alright, so anyway, as a practical matter, I'm going to go ahead and save it just to show you how it would be saved, and I'll, you know, label it the same way, basically. Sample top 4. Anyway, I'll know what it looks like. Excuse me. It's going to be in my Spooky 2 data folder, so I can save it. And then it's been saved. So anyway, that's how to do that. I have tried to analyze different biofeedback scan results, and it just makes my head spin to try to analyze it. So I don't worry about it. For whatever reason, my body says these are important, and so I'll run them in a killing mode because that's the way I've set it up with max BPM. Max heart rate variability. If you choose to do it that way, you'll have to figure out what preset or waveform you want to use for that, because that's for both healing and killing. Classically, a square wave would probably work the best. It's debatable, and this video is not designed to debate that, but you know, if I stick with max BPM, I know I'm going to use a killing mode, period, and it's just easier, and that's just my preference. So let's see what else I can mention here. Well, anyway, you'll see your graph. My heart rate's very high right now. I'm not feeling that well, so it's from 75 to 101, and that's how it's done. So I'm going to save this video. Again, for me, what I chose to do was I'll go ahead and get another one started here. What I chose to do was first you stop your software, and then you reload it with your pulse device plugged in, otherwise it won't work. Secondly, you have to have somewhere where you can lay down and try not to make any movements or cough or anything that's going to affect your heart rate. If you have an ambulance going by even and it spikes your heart rate, then it's not going to really give you a proper result. But I'll just select another one here. I'll do a full system scan. That's the classic one that is the longer 63-minute. Your programs, it's a range of frequencies that get put in. You don't have to worry about that. Your settings, 20 volts at sine wave. This one is set up for max BPM, single scan running average. It'll give you 20 hits. So I'll go ahead and start this scan just to show you how it's going to work again. Let's see here. Oh wow, let's see. Okay, yeah, it's working. Even though I didn't cancel out my previous I did check allow overwrites, right? Yeah, hold on, I'm gonna stop that. Oh wow, okay, something didn't work. Okay, let me try again. Yes, okay, I'll erase this. I wonder what happened. All right, I'm gonna erase that. That's interesting. I'll go to presets, all system scan. Control tab, allow generator overwrites. Okay, maybe, oh yeah. I did something wrong there, so I had to redo it. Once I look at the video, I'll see what I did wrong. Alright, so let's see what else I can mention to you. You know, the nice thing about Spooky is it's so versatile with all of its equipment and features, and that's the good news. The bad news is it's so versatile, it's hard to simplify things and use one method that works, you know, for everybody. So you'll have to customize it to your own unique circumstances. If you have an erratic heart rate, you just want to check the HRV, double the heart rate variability. Let's see what else. If you want to minimize the hassle of having multiple wires hooked up to you while you're trying to relax, just use the remote mode. Especially if you plan to do treatments in remote mode, it's to me, I'd rather do it in remote mode anyway, because I'm going to treat in remote mode, and it's a hassle to have TENS pads or trying to hold on to metal tubes while you're doing a biofeedback scan. You're supposed to be relaxing, so it's just simpler. What else? I'm sure I've missed something, but this is just a sample video. I'll see how it looks. If it works good, I'll post it. If it's not a good video, I won't post it. So anyway, thanks for watching.